This is Minister Karen from Pennsylvania, and I want to talk to you about that huge elephant in the room, that 300-pound weight that you cannot get off of you, that thing that no matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you wish it away, no matter how hard you want it to go away, nothing seems to get this weight, this sadness, this feeling off. I want to present to you that I'm a survivor. Depression is not racist. Depression does not care what color you are. It does not care how much money you make. It does not matter how much you have. It does not matter your age. Depression affects everyone, no matter where you live, no matter how you look. When left untreated, depression can turn to suicide. I am here today to ask you to fight. I am not here to tell you to talk to people who want to tell you how you feel. Self-care is not selfish. You owe it to yourself to take the steps to make sure that you are okay. You know how you feel. You can't let other people tell you how to feel, no matter how well-meaning people are. It is easy to tell someone, oh, you have so many things to be happy for. You have so many things to be grateful for. Just count your blessings. Snap out of it. Truth of the matter is, if you could snap out of it, I'm sure you wouldn't choose to be depressed. People mean well, but they don't understand how it feels. The reality of it is, you know how you feel, and only you can tell yourself how you feel. I am here to give you a couple of points, one point majorly, to get through as someone who's gotten through myself. That is to know your limitations, know when you're starting to feel depressed. The object of getting through is not exposing yourself to the things that make you feel down and expecting to win. The object of the game is to not allow those things to get you to that place where you have to fight so hard to overcome those feelings. When you have a lot of things on your plate, when you have stress, there's good stress, there's bad stress. Sometimes looking for a job is a positive stress. Even though it makes you feel stressful, you're actually working towards a goal. Exercise, positive stress. When you don't have the energy, when you don't feel the motivation, when that depression kicks in, and even getting in the shower, facing another day, facing yourself, facing obstacles, facing deadlines, facing a regimen, facing the world seems too hard to bear, and for the suicidal person, too hard to continue. That is when you have to stop. You have to know when you're first starting to feel sad, when you're first starting to feel stressed, when you're first starting to feel overwhelmed, and you have to pull back. Sometimes you have to pull back from certain people. There are times when people may mean well, and I know a lot of people may not like me for saying this, but the reality of it is I have learned that I have to take care of myself. People will tell you how to feel, and they will tell you to snap out of it. Girl, what are you depressed for? You have so many things to be happy about. The reality of it is, if it were that simple, you would not choose to feel the way you feel. The reality of it is you can't help how you feel. And not being able to shake it off has led to how you feel. Right now, the world is in a current state where those who were depressed, or those who would be depressed, are experiencing even further depression, and people who were never depressed before are feeling sadness, grief, depression, for some suicide, and processing all the grief from the loss. What I've come to learn is depression is not necessarily this one trigger. It's all the triggers, all the things that were snowballed underneath. And that one thing, it can take just one more thing that can cause you to not be able to handle, to deal with, or to want to continue forward. I present to you a strategy and trying not to get there. You don't want to fight the fight when you're there. You want to fight before you get there. You want to make sure you don't get there. Sometimes those well-meaning people, you might have to take a break from talking to them for a while. You cannot let people tell you how you feel. You have to be real with yourself about how you feel. That is a time to look at schedules, look at those stressors that are going on in your world. Are there things that you can take off of your plate? For those who have children, is there someone that you can have safely watch your children so that you can have a break? Is there a change in regimen? This is not the time to be a perfectionist. I tend to take on a lot of things and I want to do all things well. I realize that when I'm overwhelmed, I might need to change a deadline, say no. I have to pull back and say, maybe this is just too much for me this week. Maybe I can do this next week. What I'm speaking of is handling your stress, feeling overwhelmed, feeling sad, feeling like you're just not yourself, losing motivation to do the things that you would normally take pleasure in, even if it's getting in the shower, facing the day, facing yourself. I encourage you to find a healthy way to confront your grief. Losses are very hard. Please don't compare yourself to other people who seem to handle things differently. They're handling it differently. The reality of it is how you're handling it. And we don't know someone else's world. But what we want to know is your world and how you are handling what's going on before it gets to the state of suicide, not wanting to be here, not being able to handle that pain anymore, or being convinced in your mind that people are better off without you here. I can tell you right now that God wants you to live an abundant life. Please don't lose hope. And if you've lost hope, find someone to talk to, a pastor, a friend who understands, someone who you may not know that well who's been there. Most specifically, speak to someone who provides hope and who understands and who can help you get through where you are. If there is a hotline, if you choose medication, if you choose to temporarily choose medication, if you choose to stay on medication forever, if you just choose to take whatever steps you need, sometimes you have to change your environment. The most important thing I've stressed here for you today is knowing your bandwidth, knowing that if you have 7 things on your plate, 2 of them you probably cannot control, 5 of them you probably can. If it's a toxic relationship, if it's things that they get on your nerves, they're too much, but you can sort of deal with those things later. Take those off of your plate so that you can manage the 2 things that you need to manage. You are not expected to take on the world by yourself. Know how you feel. Self-care is not selfish. Be real with how you feel. I encourage you to properly grieve. Depression is not always about that last thing. Suicide is not always about that last thing. It's about all those things that snowballed on the inside and just kept going and kept going and kept going to the point that you want to escape. I hope that you can process, think about, cry about those things. Losses are losses and they hurt. You have a right to hurt. You have a right to be yourself and to take the time and process those hurts before that process of not dealing with those hurts take you out of here forever. My encouragement to you is know your limitations. Know when it's time to pull back. Maybe, this may sound strange to people, the dishes can sit. Unless somebody in your house is going to just be worse. Turn off the news. Turn on the news if you need to. Watch a movie. Take a shower. And if you need to be comfortable with yourself that moment, relax and just don't do anything. but cry, process, think, and give yourself a break before you break. I want you to survive. I want you to fight. And I can promise you that if you take the steps to remove triggers, to balance what you have to balance, but to not try to take on things that will cause you to break. If you just stay in a fight, if you just try, there will be another good day. Right now, things don't feel like it. Right now, it feels like there is no hope. But I can promise you as someone who wish they can go back and change time, if I can look back and think about how permanent those feelings and that decision was, and how much there's always going to be imperfect times. I can't promise you that the world's going to be perfect, but I can promise you that you can get through it, and there will be good days. There will be good moments. You will love again. You will live again. You will be happy again. If you just fight, everything will be okay. God bless.